Microsoft's Game Pass service is easily worth the price of admission. Many might balk at the concept of having their video game library locked behind a subscription service, but the fact is subscribers get access to an incredible selection of titles spanning from indie darlings to AAA blockbusters for a surprisingly affordable monthly fee. With such a dizzying array of fantastic titles on display, it can be a daunting task deciding which ones are worth a player's time. Given that the cost of entry is taken care of with the subscription fee, the most pressing matter is determining the best use of your hard drive space. Thankfully, the diamonds of this collection are readily apparent. Here's a look at the greatest games that Xbox Game Pass has to offer. Number 10. Inscription. Inscription is a delightfully dark indie adventure that's difficult to put into a tidy little box, but really, that's a big part of its charm. Plot-wise, we're following Luke Carter, essentially a YouTuber that finds some map coordinates on the back of some old, niche TCG cards that lead to him finding an old PC game. Yes, we're going a little Inception-y here, as you'll basically be playing a game within a game. Things just get weirder from that point on, and are better experienced than explained. It's a surreal, horror-adjacent experience that gets pretty cerebral, and the game does very little hand-holding in terms of figuring out the lore and narrative. We'll leave it at that rather than unpacking a 4-paragraph synopsis and ruining the fun. But in terms of gameplay, the core elements revolve around playing the aforementioned found game, a roguelike deck-building card battler that evolves a bit with each of the game's 3 acts. You'll also play through brief interludes from a small hodgepodge of popular genres and niches, some puzzling, some light RPG bits, that sort of stuff. In summary, if you're looking for a retro indie art house experience that'll keep you thinking, there's definitely a reason Inscription made such a splash upon its 2021 release. If you've got an active Game Pass subscription, treat yourself and find out why. Number 9. Sifu. As soon as we heard that Sifu would be added to the Xbox Game Pass library, we knew immediately it would have a spot on our list of best games. This might be a bit of a controversial choice given the game's notorious difficulty, but we can't help it. Sifu is probably the only game that's ever made us feel like a legit action star, like a living breathing John Wick, and that's saying something. Plenty of action games in this vein attempt to make you feel like an amazing martial artist. However, Sifu accomplishes this not through fancy quick-time button presses or realistic graphics, but by sheer perseverance. As you play through each level, failing and aging your character too soon multiple times, you grow into the star of this gritty and nicely stylized kung fu movie. It's an arduous process, believe you me. But there is nothing in the world quite like the feeling of nailing every punch, every dodge, every parry, perfectly, on that last final run of vengeance. Number 8. We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie. The best way to play a Katamari game is to play a remastered version, and thanks to We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie being added to Xbox Game Pass, we can do just that. For those of you who have never experienced the happiness of a Katamari game, allow us a brief moment to describe the gameplay. Your little character runs around collecting things, making a Katamari, the way a kid would roll a snowball around in the snow to make a bigger snowball. Except in We Love Katamari, you're not gathering snow. You're gathering so much more. From papers to flowers to animals to people to buildings to cities to planets, you just roll your Katamari around and collect everything in sight. There's a tad more to it than that, such as being able to play it in co-op and the added element of collecting joy that brings, but this is the essential DNA of We Love Katamari. It's a gosh darn delight. Go play it. Number 7. Riders Republic. No massive waves were made when this game first launched, but its chill vibes and supreme dedication to the kind of relaxing sports title it is aiming to be make it one of the greats. In Riders Republic, you cruise around on a bike, board, what have you in what is essentially a giant, open-world playground. You do tricks, grind rails, gather speed, and launch yourself off the copious amounts of ramps provided. And that's it. It is wildly relaxing and an absolutely perfect game if you're looking to have some fun downtime with friends. Sports games are not typically our cup of tea. But Riders Republic most definitely is. Number 6. Age of Mythology Retold. It's almost as if we didn't have enough classic RTS goodness finding its legs on consoles with Age of Empires 2 making the leap in fine fashion, but really, it's hard to have too much of a very good thing. Age of Mythology Retold is an updated version of an early RTS classic. You'll choose between a set of mythology-rich cultures, Norse, Greek, and alike, and select a god as your patron. Each one grants unique bonuses, and given that you pick from additional minor gods as you progress through your civilization's tech tree, the potential for build order crafting is pretty thick. At that point, naturally, it's just a matter of gathering enough resources to build an army and smash every other mythology-rich culture in play to ruin bits. As you do, you'll notice there are a lot of parallels to the standard Age of Empires gameplay formula here, and yes, you're going to cover a lot of familiar territory in that vein. But if you always thought AoE 2 would have been a lot cooler if you could zap the opposing army with lightning bolts and unleash mythological bull monsters on them, then this should do the trick.
Make sure if you're enjoying our list to hit that like button and of course subscribe for future content.
Number 5. Core Keeper. Core Keeper looks like a pretty direct Stardew like at first blush. The stylistic presentation, the UI, it's all pretty familiar. And while that can be sort of an apt description for starters, it definitely does the entirety of the game a disservice. Things start simply enough. The game casts you as an explorer that got a bit too curious with a discovered relic, and then, presto, you're deposited into a deep, dark cave and expected to craft your way to a sustainable subterranean lifestyle, alongside up to 8 of your friends, if you please. Where Stardew Valley has the cozy social sim elements polished to perfection, Core Keeper veers solidly into survival crafting territory. There's a pretty well-developed RPG-like system at play alongside significant base-building elements more akin to Terraria. You'll be fighting big bad bosses more often than you'll be dating the locals, but if you're up for a grindier experience, then Core Keeper's going to be the ticket to satisfy your crafty retro kick. Number 4. Mafia Definitive Edition. The Godfather is a masterpiece of cinema. It captured the nuance and customs of one Italian-American crime family, and sparked an interest in the mafioso lifestyle it portrayed. I wouldn't have thought it possible for a video game to capture that same mesmerizing dynamic, full of vendettas, personal codes, and contracted hits, but the original Mafia game did a damn fine job. However, you can't be expected to play a 2002-era game in this day and age. Which is why Mafia Definitive Edition is a godsend, now available on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. You play as Tommy Angelo, a former cab driver who finds himself joining and rising in the ranks of the Salieri crime family. Tommy, and you as the player, prove your loyalty through various acts of service to the main mafia boss, Ennio Salieri. But, as you may expect, things start to unravel once loyalties are questioned and people try to extricate themselves from the crime family life. I know this all sounds like heavy stuff, but it's an enjoyable as well as an engrossing time. The narrative is the key strength of the game, so if you're looking for a story-driven title to occupy your time and scratch that Godfather itch you've now remembered you have, Mafia Definitive Edition is the perfect cure. Number 3. Doom plus Doom 2. Doom plus Doom 2 is essentially the definite classic Doom collection. If you're at all attuned to gaming in general, you know what these games are about. So let's get to the good stuff, because ID Software really shot for the moon here. Beyond tweaked and updated version of these definitive 90s FPS titans, Doom plus Doom 2 serves as the definitive classic Doom collection by packing in a laundry list of level packs and expansions, TNT, Evolution, the Plutonia Experiment, the Master Levels, and even John Romero's Sigil are all included. You're also getting local and online multiplayer, plug-and-play mod support for community content, and, as a cherry on top, the option to enjoy the original MIDI soundtrack or a modernized and remastered version of the entire score by Shredmeister Andrew Hulshult. But wait, what's that? It's a cherry on top of the cherry. Doom plus Doom 2 includes a brand new episode entitled Legacy of Rust, designed by ID Software in collaboration with Night Dive Studios and Machine Games, complete with new weapons and enemies. If you've been itching for some boomer shooter goodness, you really can't ask for a better cure than this. Number 2. Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy. With Microsoft's acquisition of companies like Activision and Blizzard, we're just beginning to see popular titles from these publishers make their way to Xbox Game Pass. And while getting Modern Warfare 3 on the service has been all well and good, nothing oozes such volatile levels of excitement the way Crash Bandicoot does. So thanks to the addition of the N. Sane Trilogy to Game Pass library, that excitement is ready to hop, spin, and dash its way into our hearts. This trilogy of remastered platforming classics is the way to play through the nostalgia. Complete with the first game, Cortex Strikes Back, and Warped, this collection of Crash games has it all. If you're fond of the platformers of yesteryear, not only are you among friends, you're also in for a treat once you download and play the Insane trilogy. Number 1. Valorant. Put Counter-Strike into a box with Overwatch, then spend a few minutes shaking it around, you'll have Valorant. That's a definite oversimplification, but hey, it's definitely not a lie. That's what you're getting on the tin. Valorant is a competitive tactical shooter with heavy hero shooter elements. There are quite a few different game modes, but it typically boils down to a 5-on-5 with teams alternating attack and defense. It's a familiar format for any Counter-Strike veteran, but the focus on high-octane mobility and character abilities will definitely take some getting used to. That said, the game hosts a rabidly competitive player base. In addition to conventional, competitive matchmaking, Valorant features a Premier Queue and game mode specifically for players that are looking to go pro, so if you're looking for an esports grind to get good at, this is the title to fill that void for you.
Okay, so that's it for today. So if you enjoyed it, go punch the like button, leave a comment down below, of course subscribe to the news channel for my Twitter and Instagram links down below. As always, of course, I'll put my TubeBuddy first in the description for YouTube needs, tag titles, thumbnails, all that good stuff. So that's something you need help with, especially like I did. First in the description. Download it today. Trust me, you'll wonder how you ever got on with it. And of course, our partner channels, and hit down below, hit that join button to put myself and the channel, and of course get a huge range of benefits. But greatly appreciated. But of course, you never have to. But if you don't, you have to subscribe and watch the next video, or something might follow you home. You never know. Stuff happens. Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you all again very soon.